Good morning, Vietnam, and welcome to Recorded Conversations, episode 6, with Hennessy and Adrien, who's coming back. Adrien, Henry is on my course as well. He's one of us mech-eng people. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
How are you guys
so
feeling today?
That's great to be back. Feeling
Yeah,
good.
it's been like 2 episodes.
But yeah, you want to introduce yourself, talk about yourself a little?
Sure. So yeah, as you said, I'm also a mechanical engineer, sadly.
Sadly.
What else? I was born in the States, but I actually grew up in Switzerland, and now I'm studying in London. So the accent is deceiving. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Great.
Yeah.
That's way better
Right,
than I did.
that's it. Done. We're done here.
How was it growing up in the States?
Oh, so I was born there, and then 7 weeks afterwards I moved.
Oh, just 7 weeks?
Yeah, it's really deceiving. I know, man. I get that. I always have to explain, like, it's fake.
Right.
It's a little facade.
Where in the States?
New York.
New York.
Yeah.
Nice.
We got
I always get that, but like,
New York
again,
Times, bro.
Yeah, I've only been there.
Yeah, I'm more American than you. and
Yeah,
that's
fully.
Yeah.
But I think for engineering as well, in the UK, you just don't get paid that much. Like, you get
Yeah.
paid.
Oh
like,
yeah. The average.
Considering how qualified you are and how much, how qualified you are, you're getting paid. I don't think a proportional amount. Like in the States, you get paid quite literally almost 3 times more, 4 times more.
Yeah.
So it's for me, if I'm making
And
that
this is
choice-
coming out of the university, like, so,
Yeah.
But when you look at how engineers are taught, because I've been speaking to Victor a lot,
Mhm.
he's doing his engineering course in Illinois now. It
Yeah.
sounds a lot more intense. Like
Yeah.
all of them are like just huge at maths and these
Mhm.
things. They're taught in a very different way, and
Right.
it makes a bit of sense for them to.
Yeah.
be
Could you
paid more.
expand on like what's different?
Yeah, because I think, well, I don't know about him, or I have talked to you, we're thinking of doing like a second master's or like postgrad or afterwards in the US.
Yeah,
Well, I have a couple of friends that I've talked to.
I think that would be a good idea. The problem is that I'm comparing it just from the UCL course, which is definitely not the best for engineering. If you maybe took like, but even like my flatmate also does mechanical engineering at Bath, and it's quite similar to what we're doing. But so their first 2 years they just do like pure algebra classes, where they have assignments due weekly. They have great. It's like being in school. They have graded assignments regularly. They have big projects at the same time. It's a lot more like high school in terms of the structure of the course. Whereas here, we're quite independent. If you fall behind, you fall behind. There's no.
Yeah, I think mechanical engineering specifically is a little different to most degrees, as in like also from university to university, the way they structure it is a lot different, right? Because by nature, we need to have like a kind of mechanical intuition, right?
Yeah.
So some courses will have classes in the morning and then shop in the afternoon.
Yeah.
So you'll spend every single day in a workshop, and they'll produce really good engineers because they have a good idea of like how mechanisms work, how things fit together. And there are kids going through our degree that have, as I told you the other day, they don't know how to use a spanner. They don't know how to use a wrench.
They don't know what a
Yeah.
spanner
And they're
is.
gonna be-
August didn't know what a spanner was.
Yeah, like they're going to be graduating with a mechanical engineering degree. Like
Never
that's,
been to the workshop
And they have like
once.
no
Yeah.
idea about engineering.
That's why I was happy to do Rocket. Like, it gave me a bit of hands-on. Like, I got to use some machines that I would have not had an opportunity otherwise.
Yeah.
And, well, yeah, it was a cool thing to do online.
yeah.
This is the big lie. They sell you mech space as the degree. Like when I came and did my open day, I think we saw the Roberts building, but really we walked around mech space and saw everything going on there.
I think
But
it
you don't
should
get access to that if you're not doing the extracurricular activities.
I think the teams. So in our university, we have we call them racing teams. So whether
UCL
that's
race.
Formula
Yeah.
Student, where the students are building race cars, they're also building hydrogen cars. They're also building drones, and we're building rockets.
There's also a robot.
And there's also a Mars rover. Yeah, so you can choose to join any of these teams. You have to apply, and then the way I think it should be structured is I think it should be part of a degree. Like I think you should get credits because we get to choose a minor.
Yeah.
And I think if we got credits for this, like other universities do this.
Yeah, yeah. Pick it as your minor. Basically.
Yeah, exactly. And then you'll get far more commitment from the students, and they'll learn more in turn. But then you have to structure it more. You have to get grades for it.
Yeah, this wouldn't exist without just kind of Tim taking the initiative to create it.
Yeah, yeah.
Or just like we had design and manufacturing last year.
Mm-hmm.
Get rid of that module. Get rid of that module.
Actually, do design and manufacturing that
Yeah.
module in MechSpace.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Yeah, no,
Mhm.
agreed.
That module as a whole, like
It was a joke, and we did
Joke.
it. The entire coursework we did in. Okay, they won't understand, but we did it in like 2 weeks basically.
Yeah.
Like the entire term.
Yeah.
You could do it. That.
Yeah.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
I can-
Anyway.
yeah.
minute.
I can do my entire term in 3 days.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
But that's
okay.
for him. He sits on his ass the whole day.
Like
whoa, shit shots.
literally, like
Oh, it's
it's just. I mean, I write very fast, but still, like, obviously, I'm not aiming for like a really high grade if I do that. But like, just to get like around 65%, like for each piece of coursework, you need like 3-4 hours tops.
Oh, okay.
you know, like we have a entrepreneurship course working for Wednesday. Hey, that's his degree. Like you sit around till last minute, write some waffle.
Yeah.
So
You're doing
Okay.
information management for business.
Yeah.
right? Yeah. My sister did that degree, and
Mm-hmm.
she graduated this year from UCL as well, and she's working right now at a fintech startup, and I think she really enjoys it. So like,
That's cool.
yeah, I
Yeah.
think that degree does still set you up well though.
It does. It does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you enjoy what you're learning?
I do enjoy it a little bit. Yeah.
What's like an example? What are the modules that you have this term?
So this term we have a lot of like more like management directed than like tech. They're like managerial decision making, innovation management. I do an elective that's behavioral finance. It's about like a bit more like psychology. And then yeah, we are not doing any programming this term. We did a lot last year. But I feel like the same way as you said, like before, the people who like graduate from like mechanical engineering, they don't know shit about engineering. Same thing here, like no one knows how to program. You
Mhm.
just
You just
you put it as your skill that you know how to
Yeah,
program in your
yeah.
CV. You get the job, and then you actually learn how to program it during the job.
Yeah.
It's a bit of shit. but-
I swear programming is like until you get an assignment in
A
it.
proper
Yeah, like you just learn what you need for that assignment. You do it, and then yeah, once it's done, it's done.
You're not going to learn it in class. Like you're
Yeah.
going to learn it
Mhm.
by trying to code
Yeah.
something.
I'm all about that. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's you learn by doing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Yeah. Rocket, what's going on this year? I've heard
Oh, you already
we've
do.
lost all the funding.
Yes,
Well,
yeah.
you've
Back
lost
to
all the
UCL racing. Yeah, it's no funding as of now for any of the teams. Which
any of
for some context, so last year Rocket was the new team, and UCLR was already getting decent amount of funding. Like how much did FS get
Maybe
last year?
explain what UCLR is.
You explained it.
Yeah. So UCLR is like what all the racing teams are on.
Yeah.
Basically.
Oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Mm-hmm.
but it's all it's based in MechSpace, which is built like was funded by the mechanical engineering department. But all of those projects are completely extracurricular, so it's just students giving up some of their free time to work on these fun projects and I guess boost their CV and apply themselves in engineering, use what we learn. And last year, you know, we spent something like around 10 grand on the Rocket project. I think FS maybe had like 30, 50, and you know, we're coming into this year thinking, well, being kind of having been told that we could get more funding and we could expand, do all these, you know, bigger things, have higher ambitions, and then with this whole like cost of living crisis and inflation is what they always say. They're telling us that
Yeah.
now we can get no
Excuses.
money, no funding whatsoever, zero,
That's-
which is just a slap in the face.
Yeah.
Especially
That's
with
really fucked,
everything
yeah.
we just discussed of how UCLR is so beneficial to mechanical engineering students. It just makes no sense.
I think
Yeah.
at this point I do need to introduce it into curriculum, and then because it's not extracurricular, it's like you will get the funding, but yeah. So you're trying to look for sponsors? Find
Yeah,
any?
so we're having to rely on sponsors that we don't have yet. That's sort of been the project I was supposed to lead because I'm head of outreach and socials. But so August did a lot of the work on the brochure because he has like good graphic design skills. I can send you the brochure after lecture. It looks pretty cool. It's just the main picture of the rocket that we got from those high quality photos from the launch. And yeah, pretty much as of today, I think the brochure is done, and we're waiting to talk with leads. Well, we were supposed to have a meeting today, but anyway, to start sending companies emails asking them to partner with us, give us some money in exchange for logos on the rocket, in exchange for like social media posts, things like that, outreach events. We're really trying to sell the mech eng students to them, tell them that it's like a talent pipeline.
How much for us to put this logo up on the rocket?
If you want to sponsor us, I think
For a tenner.
our smallest sponsored tier bracket
we
right
have.
now is £500.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
£500 to get your logo
Ten.
on a t-shirt.
Take it or leave it. Yeah.
But negotiable. Anyway, and
Yeah.
we have no experience with
Yeah.
sponsoring, and also we're in competition with the other UCLR teams who have already started contacting companies, are targeting the same companies as us in some way, and yeah, it's you know, our budget now has been set at what was it, 40K?
Oh yeah. I
Because
heard
with
that.
all the expansion, so I've decided to create these new divisions, the Rocket Experimental Division, Henry here, the first year's team,
Oh, yeah,
which
how's
means
the
we're
project
participating in 2 competitions. You tell us a little bit about it, Henry.
Yeah, so the way we've structured the rocket team is we're gonna have a first year team. So this means the freshers that are joining university, they're effectively, they don't have any skills yet, right? They just joined university. We want to give them kind of like an area where they can learn some skills, play around, and kind of get ahead of their classmates, right?
And do it independently.
Yeah, exactly. And it gives them, like, a lot of people when they first get to this degree, they're really excited, right? And then in this course, they don't really get a lot of hands-on experience. So we kind of wanted to create that for them. Then we have our competitive team, which is really like our A team. This is where we're spending most of our resources on, and we want this team to be competing at the highest level against some of the best universities in the world. So this means we'll be competing against MIT, Harvard, all the big ones, ETH.
Nice. Nice.
And yeah, that's really the big dream for this. So that means the competitive team is building a new rocket every single year for these competitions to compete against other universities. And then the third division is the rocket experimental division.
So is it now research experimental division?
Same thing. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's called Red.
Yeah, it's called RED. Anyways, and that department's kind of responsible for longer term projects. So the competitive team can only commit to projects that are less than 1 year because they need to integrate whatever they've designed into the rocket within 1 year.
Yeah.
So they have I describe it as a low appetite for risk, right? Because everything in their rocket needs to, one, meet competition specifications, but then it also needs to be highly reliable, redundant, tested, all that sort of stuff. And then the R&D division can kind of have a higher appetite for risk, right? We can build something and not have a deadline for it. We can build something like a liquid rocket engine, which is far more ambitious, which you could never build in 1 year, which is going to be a multi-year, project with a lot of iteration and testing and things like that. So yeah, that division is meant to assist the competitive division in the long term, effectively.
That's cool. Yeah. So as you can see, all these big dreams for us.
Yeah.
And it's just depressing.
I mean, it's exciting and depressing, right?
Yeah, because we don't even, for the comp team especially, like we've now been successfully approved we had to apply for this. The competition that he was talking about is taking place
Mm-hmm.
in New Mexico in the United States.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's like 180 teams. Most are coming from the U.S. And I think there's only last year that there were only 6 teams coming from the U.K. So it's a big step up, especially considering we've only done one competition so far, and it was a national competition in Scotland. We did really well.
Mm-hmm.
So now we're trying to move forward, but that's going to cost a lot of money. I think it's something Johannes have estimated at like 18K on travel, like and like stay costs alone.
Yeah. And it's hard because like other teams, let's say, let's take ETH, which is in Zurich, Switzerland. I worked on one of their projects, and their budget for that project was like, let's say in the millions, right? Like over 1 million pounds, which is like we're competing against them.
Yeah.
Like their research is in the millions. We've just got a couple thousand that we're trying to,
We're Williams and they're Red
Bull. Yeah, there you go. Yeah. But still, it's exciting. We're only in our second year, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm excited though. I'm excited.
High hopes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, another thing we were just discussing earlier is we're taking a lot more like managerial responsibilities this year. Because like we just had to do applications, taking on a bunch of new people, and to get all these things done, we have to do a lot more than just the engineering work this year.
Yeah, I'd say it's up until now it's been almost no engineering.
Yeah, it's been no
and
engineering
just
work.
Managerial, and I think from the outside, I think everyone likes to think like, oh, I'll be a good leader. Like I would be a good leader, but I think it's a lot harder than people might think from the outside.
Yeah.
And this is coming from someone that has barely even started leading a team yet. And I just seeing other people do it, I really like appreciate how much skill and how much like reflection and honesty it actually takes to be a good leader.
Yeah.
And like I think what people think in their head is a lot different to what it actually means in the real life.
Yeah. You have to make some tough decisions.
Yeah.
Like when it came to the applications, I know we said we wouldn't really talk about it too much, but because of the Rocket team from last year and like the team completely changing basically. Yeah, I don't think that's something that I'm decided and that.
Yeah, it's hard though. If you have like over 70 applicants, you have to choose the best, like what, 6, 7? Like it's hard.
Yeah. The team is now reduced to 8.
Yeah. So it's hard. But there's a lot of other difficult decisions to make, like what projects do you choose to invest in? Not only like manpower, but also monetarily. If you only have like a given amount of budget, right? But yeah.
But it's cool. It kind of feels like our own little startup.
No, it's odd. Like I love it so much. Like I've learned so much from it. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hard as well, as we were just talking about. The course and having to get through that in itself is a whole challenge.
Yeah, like combining both things.
Exactly. But it's sort of like I'm even realizing now I've always been like so focused on I want to get this first. But now I'm starting to think I might just sacrifice that this year just because I want to spend more time on Rocket and other things in my life. Yeah, we'll see.
Sense. Yeah. You want to talk about like how to have a good balance then? Like how do you balance if you have like high aspirations for yourself? How do you balance like one meeting the goals that you set for yourself, but then also not burning out, not sacrificing relationships or health or sleep?
And how do you even choose what you want to prioritize?
Yeah. How do you do that for yourself?
Yeah. Well, the one thing I was hearing from a podcast I was listening to was one question to ask yourself is, what regrets can you live with? Instead of trying to figure out what do I want to work on, like what can I be happy with not working on? Or I'm getting even confused in the way I'm saying.
Yeah.
Like, what are you willing to sacrifice a little bit?
Basically, yes.
But to be honest, like I found a way like where if you do just, bit by bit, even a tiny bit over a period of a week, it starts to add up, build up like...
That's how you develop.
You don't have to do everything all together straight away, and it doesn't have to be 100% perfect either. Like,
Well, but yeah, that's
we've been shown 70% is good. Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's hard to measure because when you get a grade, you can see it. But when
Yeah.
you're just having to allocate your time each week
Yeah.
to the course, to the
Yeah,
project,
that's
to
what
your
it makes
social
it
life,
a lot harder.
that's where it
Because you
becomes
don't
quite
you
difficult.
don't see the results in like 10 days or like
Yeah.
a week.
Yeah.
You actually have to like build up and hope that the results will come because of the hard work you put in.
but
Yeah.
it's like, it's the grind. Like, we're not understanding that we are on the grind now. It's been 20 years. Everything that we've done has come down to this point here. We're here
Yeah.
now.
It's never been this difficult.
Yeah,
That's
it's
for
never
me.
been this difficult, but we
Mm.
adapt, we improve,
Overcome.
yeah, overcome, and
Come out of it.
slowly
pretty-
we become stronger and stronger. I guess,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's,
I mean,
you find ways like to make it easy for yourself.
Yeah. And in any difficult situation, you're just gonna come out of it, as you said, stronger. So that's I think keeping a positive outlook is really important for not burning out. Reminding yourself that what we're doing is pretty intense, you know, just because we're like I have to remind myself that just because I'm not getting through it and not keeping up with every single task, I'm not a failure. I'm just,
Yeah, yeah.
That's just the process. That's just the
Yeah.
process. And making
Yeah.
the mistakes and failing is a good thing.
How do
Yeah,
you do that? Like, how are there like certain things that you do that helps you with that?
You just have to take every little like positive and be happy about it. Like, if you actually start saying pay attention, there's a million things that make you smile through the day. And if you think about those and like you just concentrate a bit on those rather than, you know, all the stress and shit that's going on around you, it helps. Like, you have to make yourself happy first. You are the first priority. And, you know, if you listen to your body, it will tell you what it needs, what it wants, what it can do right now.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with what you said. Like, you are responsible for your own happiness. Like, I don't think anyone else
Absolutely.
is like out there responsible for your
Yeah.
happiness. Like, you're the only one that can do that, right?
Yeah.
So
And if you give anyone else the power over your
Yeah.
happiness, and you destroy it.
yeah.
I think you make a really good point, and I think a good way of doing that throughout your day. Even small things that you do that you find normal, perhaps, like, I don't know, getting up every morning and, you know, doing your morning routine, and then maybe you don't get to work straight away, but if you've done that already, that's something that not everybody does. And if you start to recognize that you're already, you know, strong because you do that, I think that's a good way of keeping a positive attitude and helping you throughout your day to not get discouraged, basically. That's something I think I've struggled with a lot. And setting realistic expectations too. So making a list of tasks that you want to get done throughout the day, but it's better to...
And it's all right if you don't finish every single task on that list.
Yes.
That's
Yeah,
the number
of
one
course.
thing.
But if you tend to look at your list and say, I've only finished half today, then make shorter lists, and maybe by the end of the day, if you've completed all of them, you'll feel a lot better than if you'd say you'd set unrealistic expectations and then didn't get through them, you know?
Yeah. It's a balance though, because there are days where you really do need to like take a step back, but there are also days where like you're just being lazy. and
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
need
Oh,
to
of course.
push through
Yeah,
it,
it's all
right?
right to be lazy. It's okay, like, you know,
Yeah.
to take a day off. Enjoy it. Don't
Yeah.
stress about the things that are gonna happen tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Worry about them tomorrow. Finish them tomorrow.
I think it's hard to find that balance. Though. Like it's to be honest with yourself and to really think about, am I burnt out or am I just being lazy right
Yeah.
now? Like am I truly not in a good place right now where I need to take a step back, focus on something else, you know, go out for a night, or like, or do I really am I just being lazy right now? Do I just not want to do this because I'm not good at it, or I'm just, you know, like
But I
You
feel
have
like
to
it's
be
the
honest
first
with
and
it.
most
The number.
situation. I don't
maybe,
know.
but I don't know. Sometimes I found I'd feel like shit and then just take 20 minutes, come back to it, and then I'd figure whatever it was, I'd figure it out. And then you'd be like, well, it was really good that I didn't do that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a balance. It's
But-
hard to know when.
Well, I've spoken to my therapist about this, and at the end of the summer, I came to a conclusion. You just have to be very goddamn honest with yourself. You
Which
can't.
is hard.
It is very hard, and it's like, you know, after childhood of putting like emotions second base, it was kind of hard, you know, to sometimes say, yeah, but actually I feel this, and You need to deal with
Yeah.
this reality. You can't, pretend to be somewhere else in your imaginary world.
Yeah. Yeah, listening to yourself.
It's not always easy to understand what your body is telling you and what you feel like. So that's why I think it's really important to like spend a lot of time with yourself, like listening to yourself.
Yeah.
Because if you don't understand yourself, how the fuck are you gonna understand everyone else or the world or what you want to do in the future? Like you need to listen to yourself first and understand what your body's trying to tell you.
Yeah. On that note, I always do this, but I like to preach about exercise. And I think if you exercise on a regular basis, you're more, I don't want to sound too hippie, but like you're more in tune with your body. So if your body's telling you something
true.
like, "Oh, I'm
Yeah.
just burnt out. I need a break." Or even if you're sick, if you train every day, whether it's running or training, like you will know way before anyone else that you're sick because you're like, "Oh, I'm weaker today."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you'll know
True.
immediately, right? And you have a better connection with your body. You know how your body moves and how it feels, how it's meant to feel at a certain time in the day.
Yeah.
And if you don't do that, like you'll only realize you're sick once you're full blown sick. Like it's it's
Yeah.
that connection you have with your body that I think like
No,
isn't talked about a lot.
Well, first of all, I have to make the joke. Are you Andrew Tate?
What?
No, but like I fully agree with you about exercise and like after everything you said, it's a very good emotional release. Like the days where I want nothing more than to literally go find a punching bag and just beat the shit out of it.
Yeah.
And then you throw some weights and you feel good about yourself and
Yeah, I call it like a reset button.
Yeah.
It's like you could feel terrible and then you have a good workout and it's just like, like you're like, oh, that problem wasn't that bad, right? You started American football recently, right?
Yeah.
How's that going?
This is a funniest story. We had our first game last weekend?
Yeah.
Yeah, last weekend. I don't remember, man.
He's the one playing.
Not like yesterday, the week before that. Playing against Canterbury University. Apart from them, like trying to for 15-20 minutes in the beginning to cancel the match because they had enough players but less than us, so it would have been difficult. They did fuck all game. They like us defense, myself included. We're gonna put the clip up now. There's a clip I have of a hit. Apart from that, basically they did nothing. They didn't get a first down once. For those who know, like apart from one penalty that was over 10 yards. And at the end of the game, which was beginning of quarter 3, we scored a touchdown, and one of our guys is coming up to us saying, "I just got put on the floor, taking my helmet off and punched." So the ref ejected a couple of players. Up come the coaches, start shouting, and I overheard like, "We're gonna fuck you up, ref. I'm gonna shove that flag so far up your ass." So the refs waved the game off. We're like, "Okay, it's done. Let's go change." Nope. For an hour, we had to stand on the pitch and wait for the guys to leave the change rooms and go on the coach. And a couple of times that we tried to go there, we heard a guy like shouting, "I just want to talk. Let me go. I just want to talk."
Just want to talk.
And the coach, after getting completely blown out, is standing outside the change rooms, drinking a beer, smoking a cigar. We were like, "What the
Wait, these are
fuck
the
is-"
players from the other team.
Yeah, it was madness. Like,
Wait, so they weren't respecting their coach?
no, the coaches weren't respecting the refs. Their guys weren't respecting us. They were playing really dirty the whole game.
Which team was it?
Canterbury.
Canterbury.
Well, if you want to spell that with a name, that's your preference. But
So entertaining game.
yeah, it was
So,
quite fun.
so you didn't get to finish the game.
No. It got abandoned, and then the result got given to us. How was your frisbee
That's
yesterday? Frisbee tournament.
Oh, I didn't go. Man, so I was going to go, and then I realized it's fucking an hour and 20 minutes away.
Where?
Somewhere, it's TW5 was the postcode. Like fucking
TW5?
Yeah, bro. Wait, it's next
Is
to
that even a
Heathrow.
thing?
Next to Heathrow.
Oh,
But-
roll
so you
Holloway.
you take all the tube to Heathrow,
Oh.
like one of the stations just before Heathrow, then you'd have to take another 25-minute bus.
Okay.
Oh,
So I
roll
said, "Fuck
Holloway.
that." I just called in sick. I
Yeah.
feel like an asshole. And we have another game Wednesday in Canterbury. Did you go to Canterbury?
No,
For the
we
game?
went. We had a home game, so we played literally 20 minutes away
Okay.
from home. My
Uh-huh.
family came to watch.
And again, this is a 1 hour and a half train there,
Yeah.
plus a walk.
That's a big
I'm
fucking
just gonna,
trip.
I'm just gonna bail. I don't have time for that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I mean, I could make time. I hate saying that I don't have time for things. I could make time and I don't
But you
want
can make.
But it's
better
not a
use of
priority.
time.
No, it's not
after
my
you-
priority.
Yeah, you
Exactly.
can make a better use of your time.
Yeah, I'm an ultimate frisbee team. I don't know. You need that.
Yeah.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
'Cause I tried out for the volleyball team and they were super selective and only have 3 teams and the level's high, so I didn't
Fair
get in.
enough.
Am I gonna see you at Phineas on Wednesdays for the sports nights?
The frisbee team goes to sports night. I haven't been yet this year. I'm considering this Wednesday. It's the 1 year anniversary of Scout.
Yeah.
You got tickets?
No, they weren't sold out this morning.
Oh, fair enough.
Tickets, but
I
I
got it
was waiting to
yesterday.
see if my flatmates wanted to go. But I don't
Yeah.
think, I don't know if they've
we
applied.
have a shit ton of people. Now. I don't know what the plans are for Wednesday, but
I have no idea.
no, I don't know. Like, cause the American football hasn't said anything yet.
No, fair enough. Well, you'll have Phineas for sure.
Maybe, I don't know. They'll tell us Wednesday morning.
Do you not always go to Phineas?
Yeah, but you know that talent show that we're meant to have?
Yeah.
Well, that was meant to be just in a random classroom, and I think this Wednesday may be the Wednesday because they said first one after reading week
Oh,
is
I see.
the talent show.
Okay.
Are you finished with the story? Of
Yeah.
The football. Because I wanted to go back to something we were talking about.
Mike is yours.
In terms of being able to listen to yourself. So we were talking about being
Yeah.
able to listen to yourself. You talked about the body, but talking about the mind. Something I found super helpful that I started doing at the end of last academic year is meditation. I've told you a little bit
Yeah.
about it before. Like, and the way I was doing it, I had an app that was recommended by a friend at work. It's a project that was founded by Sam Harris. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of him. I don't really know what his background is fully, but he's knows a lot about psychology.
Mm-hmm.
And in this app, you get an introductory course, and you're supposed to do these daily, about 10-minute meditations, which are guided meditations. So you listen to a guy basically
Okay.
walking you through what you're supposed to do. So you just sit comfortably in a chair or anywhere. You start by focusing on your breathing, and then in other sessions, you focus on the sounds around you. You focus on the sensations of your body, and at the same time, you get other little sessions that explain to you the benefits of meditation, and also they talk about just different ways of being able to understand like how you feel. And I now do that most days. I meditate, and it's a good way to relax at the end of the day, reduce anxiety and stress in certain situations. When I know that if I'm just like freaking out about something, I can just go to meditation and tune it all out and just focus on the present moment.
A cigarette also helps.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, fair enough.
they're different things. Yeah. And it's also helped me be way more honest with myself,
Yeah.
which is what we were talking about
Yeah.
before.
I used to meditate like when I was like 16, 17. I don't know why I stopped.
Did you feel any benefits of that?
Yeah. I definitely remember having like good results. Like every day I
That
did
shit's
like twice a
tested?
day, morning and before going to sleep. Started off like 10 minutes, but then at one point I was doing like 30-minute sessions. It was like, it's really peaceful, really, really good for the mind.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I should pick it up again.
Can you
like,
explain more,
yeah.
like, what are the benefits you're getting from it?
Well, not even like well maybe that's people like are you sitting there and thinking about something or like
No.
you
No.
You're
that's
not
the whole
meant to
point.
think.
You,
Empty
yeah,
your mind.
you to have like empty your mind,
Yeah.
get like a clear perspective for like your mind and where you're at. And you just sometimes you need to like hit that reset button. Some like it's like with the gym you were saying before, like you need to like reset your mind because you've got like all these thoughts piled up in your head that you don't know how to like process. And by like putting like a blank space in your mind, like clearing it like through like meditation or like this other techniques, you're not like thinking about everything for like that span of time. This is like 10 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour. And then when you say wake up from that meditation, you just, the answers are there. You
Okay.
just found like a clear mind, and you just found like, oh, this was like a lot like less important than I thought it was. And I was like, I was giving it so much thought all over and over again, and it wasn't that important. And yeah, it's just very good to like keeping like a steady mind and like being in a good state of mind, like in general.
Yeah, it's a good sort of thing to come back to, like a I don't know how to describe that.
You said all the right words. Like, like the shit I go through on a regular. Like that I do get answers. Like I build a connection with my mind, I guess, over summer, like where I can listen and, thoughts pop up and I realize that's the answer. But if meditation is a way of, you sit down, you calm yourself, and then, at the end of it, you may not get all the answers, but like if it's
No, of
easier
course
to
not, yeah.
access them that way, maybe
Consolidate.
It's a tool at the end of the day.
Yeah. So to talk a bit more about some of the benefits that Henry was asking, one of the things for me was more attention control. So in the practice I've been doing, you have to focus on certain things and tune other things out. So the breathing, focus on the breathing. And I don't know exactly how this translates to emotional control, but I don't react to certain negative
Yeah.
emotions anymore.
Yeah.
Like
know
so
how
you,
it works,
you
but it
train
works.
you train in noticing things. So in that it's happening in your consciousness. So everything that's happening that we see, that we hear, our thoughts, it's all just things appearing in consciousness. And the better you get at just noticing everything that's going on in the present moment, the better you are at being aware when like a negative emotion appears, like anger, frustration, jealousy, and just observing it and not acting on it. Just understanding that it's something that's occurring. It's not defining what you're gonna do in the next moment. You're not.
Yeah.
You can, and it helps to. It's just helped me become a better person in that
Yeah.
sense. Be more
Yeah.
open to people's thoughts and reflect before reacting. Like when people say something that I might just want to
Yeah,
instinctively snap back at. I'll wait, reflect, think. Wait, why are they saying this?
Yeah.
And try and understand better.
And sometimes it's like people snap at you and you open your mouth and I'm like, wait, but she's stressed about this or that, or he's going through this. And like, you realize like, yeah, they're not going through a good time. Understandable.
Yeah.
Let them be, like,
Yeah.
it's their life. Help them out if need be.
So is it like you can build some distance in between you and the emotions that you're feeling?
No.
Not distance, actually.
Not distance.
Closeness.
Yeah.
You
Yeah, but you can observe it kind of from afar.
Yeah.
Like I am
can
angry.
control
or,
them.
You
like-
don't let them.
Yeah.
You don't let them
Yeah.
overcome you.
Yeah,
Right. They
you
don't.
control
They don't
them.
define you in that
You
present moment.
change the perspective.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's changing your perspective. It's your when these emotions occur, you're now no longer. It's not. You're not defined by that emotion. You're just observing it.
Yeah.
As an occurrence in your head. So you like one of the practices is like forcing yourself to feel sadness or
Yeah.
something like that, and then just like picture a very violent or sad situation, like your parents' death, and
Yeah.
then just
And you do this every day.
yeah. But it's always different kinds of practice. There's many different ways of meditating. And if I really recommend this app. It's called Waking Up.
I'll do it. I will
Yeah,
do that.
do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
It seems weird because like maybe I'm just taking like an engineer's perspective, but like if I buy like a lawnmower, you always get like an instruction manual. There's no like instruction manual about like how to live.
You'll feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but it's like you can just go through this life and not reflect on just always acting on your first instinct.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And, like
Well, instinct is good as well.
Instinct is
but
good, yeah.
if you don't work hard so instinct is based off of your thoughts and what you work to develop your thinking. If you haven't done much of that, then your instincts won't change.
yeah, it's not
And
rational.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You can understand the thought behind the instinct and you can think, actually, good idea 5 years ago. Now, I'll wait.
If your thoughts and views on things aren't continuously changing as you grow, then in my head, you're doing something wrong.
But
If
like,
you continue to have the same perspective on things throughout your life, then you've been doing something wrong.
me coming from Russia, like, talk about having a therapist is or meditating still like is kind of taboo. But the Western world is now warming up to the idea of what the Asian and Eastern communities have done at all times. Yes, there's physical wealth, health and wealth. There's also mental.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
now
100%.
the world is understanding that you need to have both intact.
Yeah.
And it's becoming more,
Yeah. All this stuff is nothing new. A lot of
Yeah.
cultures
Yeah.
have studied this. There's this book, Buddhism is True. And it is. Like, these people, just because they were nomads and living in what we would describe as poverty,
Yeah.
they were actually very rich
Yeah.
in experience and understanding
way richer than
than we
Yeah,
are,
now,
than
yeah.
most people in our
Yeah.
Western society.
No, I went on a trip to Nepal, and I went like I did like this hike. I like hiked up to this mountain in the middle of nowhere. I flew into Kathmandu, but then
What's
we
the name of
the monastery? I don't remember, but it was like we had to hike up there and spent the night there,
Yeah, okay. I've heard
and
of this place.
it was crazy. Like, but the thing is, like, we couldn't really talk to most of them because they didn't speak English, obviously, but they were all like really happy, and
Yeah.
they eat the same food every day. Their every day looks the same for them, but like they're able to, I think, gain such a deep appreciation for just
Yeah.
like the most
Yeah.
basic things in life. And I think this brings us back to the meditation.
That is one of the
right?
benefits of meditation. You
Yeah.
could I've just been happy in the most
Yeah.
basic moments.
Yeah.
Things
You're
don't make you
thankful.
happy. You get used to the nice things you have.
Yeah.
And
You're
I
always
think
gonna want more.
we're so like overstimulated these days. There's
Yeah.
like everything's working against you. Like your phone is always, you can't spend enough time on your phone. You know, like
what you just said, everything's working against you, is exactly one of the things they're saying in one of the first sessions. Is all throughout the day, everything is competing for your attention.
Yeah.
Your phone,
Yeah.
all your apps, all your responsibilities are competing for your attention, and this is what meditation is kind of about: is attention control, being aware of what you're thinking about.
And I think we are pretty much the first generation that is having to kind of deal with this without having lived, like without really growing up without it, right? Like if you were born 10 years before us, you kind of grew up with a phone, maybe a flip phone, but you had a good understanding of how life works without, being quite
Yeah.
physically attached to this.
Do you think that's
thing,
important though? Like, I see loads of people who, like my parents.
Yeah,
I see them on
yeah.
their phones all the time.
Yeah, but I think
True.
they grew up without it.
yeah,
And I think for us, it's like, especially kids nowadays, like,
yeah, you see the kids on their phones all the time. I went to
I don't want to be too like nihilistic, but
I think
like,
it's really dangerous. I think it's really fucking dangerous
Yeah.
the way kids are growing up now.
Yes, but
Like-
when I think
And with
back
the
at
internet-
myself and my use of my phone, it's completely stupid. But that doesn't mean that I didn't grow out of it. I don't think you should look at children, the generation, and think and be hopeless.
no, I'm not.
I think that
hopeless.
we should.
No.
Yeah.
But I think things like meditation are more important. Probably, like if you're telling me these are the benefits you can get from it, like
Yeah.
this is probably more important. Like
This is the kind of thing no one teaches you. You have to go out there.
exactly,
and
there's
find
no
it out.
user manual.
There
That's what I
isn't.
was trying to say. Like no one's gonna tell you, oh, do this.
No,
Yeah,
but meditation is pretty widely recognized as being
yeah.
Yeah.
highly beneficial.
It's
and
hard, though.
It's like
It's
no,
hard.
it is hard.
Like,
It's hard. I talk about it like I started meditation and then I've been regular.
No,
not
yeah,
at all.
yeah.
It's the difficult process.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's similar. I find it similar to exercising. It's
Yeah.
just a one way
eating
of.
healthy, exercising,
Yeah, all these
sleeping, like even just going
You have
to
to
sleep
take care of
early.
yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's habitual. So if you
It's
start
hard.
to create habits,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
becomes easier.
It's weird how like I think almost everything in life is either like a small good habit and that will compound, or a small bad habit and that will compound.
Yeah.
You know, like if you have one cigarette a day, you might not see the results now, but that will compound to something in the future. But if you also go on even a walk every single day or a bike ride every day, that will in some way measurably compound. And you will see, it's
But
hard to
I
like-
feel
say.
like that's a bit too black or white though. You're
Maybe,
describing everything as
maybe.
either good or bad though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, okay, maybe that's bad as well. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe there are certain things that you do that you just accept are not necessarily physically good for you, but you just enjoy those.
Yeah,
moments. Like I
exactly.
enjoy
Yeah,
smoking my
yeah,
cigarette
well-
Yeah,
sometimes.
I get
It
that.
all brings
I get
joy
that.
to you. And like, to be honest, as long as your body feels happy and healthy, it creates a better environment for you to strive in, think in. and it's just you feel more good and positive about yourself. And it's like, you know,
Yeah.
it's a slow rolling.
There's that
like,
aspect.
snowball.
Yeah, we were talking about this with Henry on the way here, because he's got a pretty like strict diet and way he eats things and trains for. I wouldn't say strict. I'm describing it wrong,
Yeah.
but you have a specific diet which, if you take it from a neutral perspective, is not necessarily the best way to be healthy.
Yeah, no, like
Um,
yeah, just for context,
Yeah.
like I'm trying to gain weight, which is quite uncommon. Like most people are trying
Yeah.
to actively lose weight. I'd say I'm trying to gain weight because I'm trying to compete in powerlifting, which is
Okay.
effectively if you're heavier, you'll gain more muscle and then you'll be stronger, put simply. And
Bulk up, basically.
yeah, I'm lucky because I naturally have a fast metabolism, so that means I can eat, 4,000 calories a day of junk food, and I still find it hard to put on fat. But that's what I
Same
have
with
to
me.
do. Exactly. So it's not
Lucky
healthy. I don't
bastards.
feel good.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't
I know,
feel
yeah.
good. That's kind of why I wanted to start doing things like Muay Thai, just because like I was like, well, like,
Yeah.
you bulk
Mobility.
for like, a few months and you just don't feel good. But yeah, sorry, I just wanted to give some
No,
context.
no,
to
that makes sense.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. He knows that his eating habits are not necessarily the most healthy, but that doesn't mean that. But this is to bring back to what Oleg was saying.
It makes me happy.
Exactly,
Yeah.
it makes him happy and
Yeah.
feel good about himself.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important. So
Yeah.
you can't necessarily take everything from one's perspective as
Yeah,
good or
and, like,
bad.
Yeah, of course.
As
Every-
long as you
yeah.
start to realize what brings you joy, because we're all
Yeah.
unique in our own ways, you can't exactly, follow a manual on how to live a life. And it's
No.
just things that
Yeah, because
you
it doesn't
learn over
exist.
time.
Because
Exactly.
everyone has their own mind and their own way of thinking that you've developed through like all these years. That it's there's not like it's not like a computer that okay, I turn this button, it goes on. I do this, it does that. No, that's why it's very important to like slowly understand yourself and like build up to it. Like there's techniques like meditation, workout, like all these different techniques that help you get to that better version of yourself. But you have to understand yourself. That's the biggest one.
I'd say even conversations like these, like I find them really rare nowadays. Like just
So
Yeah.
like quite
That's why
literally
we
just
started
talking
this.
about life and talking about
Yeah.
your experiences, other people's experiences,
Bro,
how they're the
you
same, how they're different.
You summed up the main idea
and
behind
it's
this podcast.
because of the overstimulation. Like
Yeah.
we just have all these different like topics and like say like politics and all this stuff that you like seeing in social media all the time, and you only want to talk about that in like many like conversations, and like that's not enriching to yourself. You just like commenting on something you don't really understand.
And it doesn't affect you.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
and
But like we as tolerant as we appear to become, we also are very like public opinion driven. So
Yeah,
we don't talk about a lot of stuff because there's taboo and stuff. There's like certain people who will say one opinion and you don't want to clash with them. And
Or there are
yeah,
opinions that are just
and
generally recognized as
Exactly.
the right opinion.
Yeah, and technically, we are so unique. So when you look at the scheme of things, the world we're living in, like I've talked to Nia a lot about this, but I was at points like scared because I don't know like if what I'm doing is right. And there is no manual. There's no one you can talk to about this stuff. Like I don't know if I'm doing the right thing, if it's good, if it's bad, and it's just sometimes can get overwhelming because
it is. Yeah.
you are wired so much completely different to everyone else. And once you start to understand yourself and being honest with yourself, that's when I realized, like, long as I'm okay with what I'm doing, I'm feeling good about this next decision. It's good. Like there is no wrong decision. There was a decision at that point in time, and you chose it, and it was right at that point.
Yeah, but it is important to make decisions.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, sometimes decisions have to be made, even if you're not sure if it's going to be the right one.
And even if they're not the best ones, like
Yeah.
if you make
You
wrong
learn.
decisions, you'll build up to making better decisions in the future.
Yeah.
If you don't make decisions at all and you let life live you instead of you living life, then you're never gonna
Yeah, anyway.
get better. Yeah.
Yeah, overthinking things too much also sometimes is
Oh.
not the move.
Oh,
That's why meditation is very good. It's-
yeah.
Yeah, helps you.
You put a reset to
Yeah.
that overthinking process you had
Yeah.
going on.
I think.
Yeah, I can't stress enough how
Yeah.
beneficial it is, and
Yeah.
and it's something that you like improve on over a
Yeah.
long period of time. People who've meditated for years are still
skill,
finding things
right?
out. It's a skill, yeah, 100%. It's
Yeah.
mindfulness. It's mindfulness. It's do the course.
Yeah.
It's kind of, like, it's making us, like, completing the circle, roughly. Like, in my head, the character I've become is, I've done a lot of little different things everywhere. And it's like, slowly coming round. I'm a mechanical engineer, done rockets. I've done some extra stuff like scuba diving, fucking,
American football.
yeah, American football, a lot of sport, a lot of academic achievements. It's all coming round in a circle. And then this is like, the Western learning, as I said. And then you need the last Eastern learning.
There's so much to be understood about consciousness and just what it means to be human. Those are some questions that we don't really ask ourselves, or people start talking about this shit and you're like, bro, this is some hippie shit. Shut up.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, man,
Yeah.
these are some of the bigger questions that you need to start
Yeah.
asking yourself.
Like one thing I think about all the time, but I'm like almost like embarrassed to talk about is like I kind of realize like we're just like apes that got smart. Like
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
literally animals.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we are.
We like to think that we're something different than animals. Like
we're
there's
really
a
not.
clear line. I'm not an animal. I shit in a toilet. And they
But-
like
Yeah, but we're
we
the
were
only-
just smart enough to build toilets. Like
Yeah, we
we're
just
the
have
same
the
fucking
cognitive
thing.
ability, but if
Yeah.
some outsider could come in and say, from my point of view, you guys are just like focusing on all the wrong things.
Yeah, we're the
Yeah,
only
your
ones that
technology
have
and all
to-
this stuff is great, but like mind-wise, you're not very.
We're the
Yeah,
only
the
one
orders that we
idea.
just draw. Like
Yeah. The way just look at international relations from that viewpoint. The way we make decisions and interact with each other, we're far
Yeah.
from perfect.
honestly, like, I feel like therapy for me did the kind of same stuff meditation did for you. And what I've told my therapist at a point was, therapy is like just another class, like same stuff you have in school. It's class of you, and you learn some things, and there will be situations every so often where those things are gonna get tested.
Yeah.
And it's about, recognizing it, building patterns, and understanding like
Yeah.
what to say at the right time.
Yeah. This stuff is helpful in all walks of life. So I think it should be taught in schools, man. Mindfulness and-
Mm. I do think there's still quite a lot of resistance though. Like I don't know if you can. I think even if you did teach it to people in school, I
Yeah.
think you kind of need to come and find it yourself. I don't
I
know.
see the argument
like,
for that.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you can force someone to work out. I think they need to get to
Yeah.
just want to
But
do
at
it
least
themselves.
educate them around the benefits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
these
yeah.
things are proven.
Yeah.
It's a bit harder with meditation, but I think it can be shown. I'm not quite sure, but with exercise, we have the physical numbers, the research done.
Yeah, but you can show that to people still, like in the U.S.
Yeah, they still.
Like you have like a third of people that are like morbidly
Yeah,
obese.
but
Like
until they felt so there's the physical benefits, but there's also just how you feel. Like how your head's like
Yeah.
your
The mental benefits.
yeah. And again, as you said, I think you don't understand it until you do it yourself.
and you do it for a while, right?
Yeah,
Like you're
yeah,
gonna
it's not. It's a
Yeah.
yeah.
You're
You
not
do
going
it
to
for
respond in a
yourself.
week.
You do it for yourself as well, and then that's a big improvement.
I think it's the analogy of like if there's an airplane crash and like the gas masks come down, you always have to put on your mask before you help other people.
Mhm.
Like I think this goes back to like helping. You're the only one responsible for your
Yeah.
happiness, right? Like if you can't do that, you're not a liability for other people, but like you won't even be able to help other people
Yeah.
because you
As
haven't
much as
even
you could.
focused on yourself
Yeah.
yet. You're
Yeah.
still trying to figure your shit out. So
Mhm.
if you're still unstable, it's harder to help other people. But if you feel like you've got 2 feet on the floor and you feel, I'm not saying you have to be perfect, but if you feel like relatively just
Yeah.
happy with yourself, it's so much easier to help other people
Yeah.
as well.
And if you're able to, part of that is being able to criticize yourself.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and being
yeah.
honest with
Yeah,
yourself.
being honest
Yeah,
with yourself. Again, yeah.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
It's cool though. It's nice that we were able to talk about it.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I think I reckon it's quite popular already with
Hmm.
in certain like celebrities, not celebrities, like internet personalities, like influencers
Yeah.
who preach these kinds of things.
It's kind of like at the end of the day, you know, worst case scenario, you're left alone. If you can't deal with yourself at that point where you're left alone, how are you gonna live? Like if you don't like the person, like the only one last person that's left there for yourself is you. And if you don't like yourself, are you gonna let out like how others are gonna like you?
Yeah.
Kind of that type of stuff.
Fair enough.
Wanna talk about Brazil?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
Jesus. Congrats to Russell, first of all.
Could you guys like
Deserve.
fill me in?
Okay, yeah. So,
Do you want to start out on Friday with qualifying first?
oh, sure. I mean, let's give him some context,
Yeah.
right, on the big drivers. So, Russell, he was last year. He was in the worst car, and now he's in
Top 3 car.
top 3 car.
He was
And
with Williams and now he's with.
Mercedes.
Okay.
And Mercedes started the year terrible, but now they have one of the best cars on the grid.
Which race was this?
Brazil.
Yesterday.
No, but like number what out of?
21 out of 22.
Okay.
Yeah. It's only the last.
Yeah. Yeah, I heard that they weren't doing so well at the start.
Yeah, terrible, and now they're doing really
But
well.
the car hasn't changed.
No, they'll have upgrades for each single race. So that means
Oh, okay.
new packaging, which is like, the outer surface of the
Mhm.
vehicle. No engine upgrades. They freezed it because it's really expensive to upgrade the engine.
Yeah.
But like suspension,
Yeah.
things like
And
that.
the engine is good. Like
Yeah, they had a good
The
engine.
thing they were having a lot of trouble with was the aerodynamics.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the aerodynamics are changing for each race. I remember
Yeah.
finding that out when I did a bit of research
Yeah.
for my application.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
cool.
also each track is different, right? Like if you have a really high speed track, you want lower drag,
Yeah.
right? But if you have like
More
a
corners.
slower
Lots of
track,
turns.
you want more
More
downforce,
downforce, yeah.
right?
Mhm.
So it's
That's so cool.
it's really cool because like
Yeah.
there are people whose entire job is to figure out like tire strategy, and
Yeah.
they'll like
Everything affects the race. Like
they'll
everything.
know everything. Like aerodynamics affects tire degradation. Then suspension determines tire degradation. How aggressively are you driving? If you're out front, you don't want to be using your tires that aggressively because no one's defending. But if you're defending against someone, you're going to be wearing them a lot faster
Why? Why is that exactly?
because you're driving more aggressively.
Yeah, you're slamming on the brakes later, you're putting the foot down faster, so there's like more
But just-
rotation,
it
more.
heats up the tires. Yeah.
And I think one thing that it's hard to appreciate when you're just watching it on TV is like how fast they're actually
Oh,
going
yeah.
and
Yeah.
accelerating and overtaking each other.
Yeah,
Like, if you're
it's the-
overtaking someone at 300 kilometers an hour and then you're slamming on the brakes into a turn,
Yeah.
and then
Crazy,
you
it's
overtake
crazy.
each other, and you like
Yeah,
it's
it's
fucking
intense.
crazy. And then
Yeah.
you have like huge crashes, and I'm not saying they're good, but like they're entertaining.
They're
fun.
really entertaining.
Whether
And
was there a
like,
crash?
and like
Oh.
what happens after it is a lot of fun. Like how they're gonna play the certain.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it just
Cars.
changes the strategy of the race completely.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like a curveball.
yeah. And
Okay.
then
It was
you'll have
2 or
Shit,
3
how many
stage
people?
classes.
Like, is there a team of engineers working in the
1,000
background?
per team.
Yeah.
So they'll
it's-
have
There's like a lot of people.
500, 600 people developing the car. Then you'll have maybe 100 people at the factory during the race, and then maybe 20 performance engineers
What do you
on
mean at the
track.
factory during the race?
So they'll have like a huge. If you've seen like the Mars landings or something, they have like these rooms where everyone's on computers
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
monitoring data.
Mm,
They have the
same
same thing. So
Same
each
thing,
team
yeah.
will be looking at other teams to see what their strategy is. They're looking at weather. So weather's going to be coming in, even the temperature of the track, temperature of the air, all these sort of things.
Yeah,
So
everything plays.
Yeah,
a
like
really-
if you're going to New Mexico, the track is higher, so the air is going to be thinner. So you have to maybe adjust the air fuel ratio in the car. Then you're also monitoring how much fuel you have left in the car because you don't want to come in too light at the end of the race. There's so many.
Oh yeah,
things.
how do they control their fuel usage?
Right now, it's a mass flow rate, but it's changing to an energy flow rate, so it's going to be megajoules per second. What Ferrari did 2 years ago is, the way if you have a sensor, it's only sensing, say, 100 times per second.
Yeah.
But if you have your fuel rate in a sinusoidal kind of fashion, if you're always measuring it at the lowest point, then you can be under the limit, Yeah.
So at certain points, their mass flow rate was higher than
Yeah.
was allowed.
But that's F1 engineering. Like that's sick.
yeah.
Wait, how were they controlling?
Is that why
They have-
fuel inlet flow inlet at
They're-
the same
They're-
speed
that's
at the
what they
same
do.
frequency as the sensor?
Yeah, that's what they do.
insane.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
Well-
that's F1 engineering. Like they imagine you have before
Yeah.
it was like you have a budget of like 400 million to build a car. Now it's 150, 140, something like that.
But not all teams have that much.
Now it's all
They
teams.
do?
This
Yeah.
is why it's more interesting.
Okay.
Now, because now what's happening is like teams like McLaren, they're literally on the stock exchange now. You can buy McLaren. Don't quote me on this.
Private company?
Yeah, because if you lower the cost to race, they can actually be profitable companies. So if you win a championship, you might clear, I don't know, 200-300 million.
Yeah.
So you can sell your company on the stock exchange, make money, and then these companies are profitable. Before it was like if you win, you'll cut even.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
but
good that there's like a budget cap.
It's bad for engineers though.
Yeah.
So for us, if we want to work in Formula One,
Bro, I applied to the aerodynamics department of Red Bull.
True.
He got the fine.
Well, yeah, but
and
that's
then-
because Red Bull overspent.
I think that's why my application is still in progress. It's just like they scrapped the idea for aerodynamics.
Nah,
Where does
they still need to hire people. Yeah. Like
Well-
maybe.
Yeah, going back to Brazil.
Yeah.
Haas did an unreal thing of putting P1, so like second shittiest car, on the track.
Yeah.
When P1 and the other driver
And qualifying.
P20.
Yeah. So
Wait.
in quali, what happened in quali? It was
maybe explain how qualifying works as well.
okay. Yeah. So like there's
Sorry.
3 qualifying sessions: Q1, Q2, Q3. Q1, the last 5 are eliminated. Q2, the like second 5 are eliminated. Like, and in Q3, there's 10 drivers fighting for like pole position.
Yeah.
So normally, if like
You're just trying to get the fastest lap, by
Yeah.
the way. You're not racing.
In,
You're not
each,
directly
in each
racing.
session.
Yeah.
So what happened is it rained in like just before qualifying. It was raining. It like stopped raining mid Q1, something like
Yeah.
that. And so the track was getting better very quickly. So every lap, everyone was going like a second faster than the previous lap, which is like not normal. And so we go to Q3 and we started the quali on like no rain. So everyone, well, almost everyone except for Leclerc,
Ferrari
put in like
strategy.
a good lap in like dry, soft tires, like the fastest tires. And then it just started to rain.
No, Russell Binder caused
Oh
the
yeah,
red flag.
well yeah,
And
wait,
then
it started to
to-
rain. Russell binded and goes to red flag, so that's like it took like what, like 5 minutes or something like that to get the session restarted. So by that time, no one could do a faster lap because the conditions had gone worse. So at that point, the fastest lap was Kevin Magnussen in the Haas because yeah, he just got the good timing with like when he put the lap in like the first lap in the session. So yeah, no one could do a faster lap. So it's so weird to see that like the second to
Second
slowest
one,
car, the
yeah.
second slowest car getting pole
Yeah.
position.
Are they all driving at the same time? Just
Yeah.
further apart.
Yeah, yeah,
They
yeah.
don't care about.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's also a bit like you need the strategy in qualifying
Yeah.
to have like when do you put in the
Yeah,
lap?
because the other cars need to be out of the way for you. right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And especially if
exactly.
the weather is changing, you're going to be changing the tires that you're using. Like if
Okay.
it starts to rain, you want to have wet tires.
Yeah.
And then if it's starting to dry
What
up,
are wet tires?
wet tires they basically have grooves and like the soft tires are completely smooth.
Yeah.
But the like intermediate tires will have like tread on them basically, so you'll still have quite a lot
They
of
channel the
tread.
water better so they get more grip.
Yeah, exactly.
the-
But they're slower, right? So it's a
Yeah.
trade-off.
They are slow.
Because there's less contact with the surface of the road.
So you got like 5 tires. It's like soft tires, medium tires, hard tires. They're both like dry conditions, slicks. And then you have the intermediate tire, which is for like mild rain, like a bit of rain. And then you have like the full wet tires that are like for like heavy rain. But they're not being used anymore
Are these
because
the tires for every team? They have the same tires.
yeah.
Yeah,
They're not,
like-
they don't engineer their own tires.
No.
No. Okay.
It used to be up until 2007, 8, 2000.
Well, it was the
something like that.
2005 US one where it was like, oh,
Yeah.
6 cars started the race out of 20.
Yeah, there used to be 2 different tire providers.
It was like two different manufacturers
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
And the teams chose, and they had like different types of tires, which are like for some races they were better, for other races they were worse. But then there was like the big scandal, 2005, where a few, like all the drivers with the Bridgestone tire, I think it was, they couldn't start the race, or the other way around, I can't remember, because they just couldn't get the tires to the end of the race. Back then there was you didn't change tires through the
You
race.
don't have to
Well, you didn't have to. Like, if you did, it was like
take
you
too long.
lost too much time. So you had to see the tires through to the end, and so yeah. So in that specific track, the Bridgestone tire, it just couldn't make it to the end because of degradation. So they just like decided to like not start the race. So it was like so from then on, they just stopped doing that and just found like one tire provider, which is Pirelli,
Okay.
and go with that.
Okay. So what happened on Sunday?
Well,
But yeah, going back to Brazil.
yeah. Well, on Sunday there was a race on Saturday as well. It's a weird
It's called a
weekend. It's
sprint
a
race.
sprint race, small race, 100 kilometers, 24 laps. Russell won, Sainz second, Hamilton third, and then Verstappen, and I think Leclerc, Perez somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Sainz had a penalty anyway.
Yeah.
Basically, the race was a chaos. Russell stayed top all the time.
Yeah.
Russell, who
Hamilton,
drives for?
Mercedes.
Oh, the new guy. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hamilton came second. And it's just like there was what 2 or 3 safety cars, threw a curveball at everyone at all times. Leclerc managed it well. Went down to P17, came back P4.
Yeah.
I didn't like the whining on the radio at the end, like let Carlos tell Carlos to let me through, bro. It's
Oh,
P2
yeah,
you're
yeah,
fighting for in the championship.
That's
it don't
not-
matter.
Never gonna happen. Yeah.
But Red Bull have a lot of drama going on.
Yeah. So basically, Sunday the race. Well, Russell won. I was a 1-2 for Mercedes with Hamilton second. So really good result for Mercedes. And then Sainz came third, and Verstappen came fourth.
No, Leclerc was
Oh, Leclerc was fourth, and then Verstappen came in fifth.
It was Alonso fifth. You dumbass.
Alonso was before.
Yeah, Alonso was fifth, and Max never.
He went
qualified.
from P17 to
Yeah.
P5. It was a mad race. Yeah. He got lucky with the safety car though.
Wait, so this guy Russell, I haven't really heard of him before, but now that
No,
he's been
he's
listed-
Mr. Saturday. Like he was crazy good for Williams, like doing shit with Williams, the shittiest car no one did. He stuck it P2 last year in like Spa, which is a hard track to do. It was raining again, and he stuck it P2 is the same as Haas getting P1.
Yeah, so basically, when he was in the shittiest car, everyone still kind of saw him as one of the most underrated drivers because he was able to really get the most out of his machine. But when he came to Mercedes, everyone had really high hopes for him, but Mercedes wasn't able to deliver him a car.
He was still delivering.
Yeah.
well.
He started really well.
Yeah, but like not to like what we thought it would
Yeah.
be, right?
Wait, do they have different cars, the two drivers?
No,
No.
they have
No.
the same car, but if you're going from Williams to Mercedes, that's a different car.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So Mercedes went from having the best car on the grid to now like starting the year with one of the worst. But they were progressively getting their car better.
Yeah.
And now it's again now
Okay,
we're finally
okay.
able to see one of the best drivers in one of the best cars, which was
Okay.
and he delivered, which was awesome. to
Yeah,
see.
'cause he's doing better than Hamilton.
Yeah, I appreciate like it's really hard to make sense of this from the outside, but I
Yeah.
think a good way into it is obviously the show Drive to Survive. But
Yeah,
Did you watch all the?
yeah,
The problem, yeah. I just don't like how all the drama stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
some of the drama is right. Like the Red Bull, basically, Perez had the wrong tires, so he finished P7. Max overtook him to try and fight Alonso. Didn't get there. And on the last lap, the team was like, okay, Max, Checo let you through. Relax. Let Checo back
Give the
through.
position back.
Yeah. And everything's fine. He said, no, I gave you my reasons. And apparently,
Wait.
So
They wanted him to let.
Yeah,
so
because
this
Checo
happens
was
a
right.
lot. Like if you have two drivers in different strategies fighting for the same position, and then you let the faster driver go through so that he doesn't lose time to fight the next one. But if it doesn't work out, you just give the position back at the end of the race because it's fair.
Yeah.
And yeah, so apparently there's like rumors that are like probably true. That what happened is that Max is mad because in Monaco,
So like May, in May, we're in November now.
Checo apparently might have admitted to like Christian Horner and Helmut Marko, which is like the two
Big bosses.
big guys in Red Bull. He might have admitted to crashing on purpose on qualifying
In Monaco.
in Monaco. Like this happens rather often. Like you see
Nowadays.
these like weird crashes in qualifying, because if you crash into the end of qualifying and you have put in a good lap, usually ends up with a red flag, and the session just finishes there.
Yeah.
So no one can put in a better lap than you, and you can start in
Oh.
like pole position or like a good position. So this happens a lot. It's never like official that like yes, I crashed to get the lap, but it happens, and like we've seen it.
Leclerc.
Isn't that
We've
damn
seen
the
it a
car
few-
that they need for?
We've
Yeah,
seen at
well,
least a
Leclerc
couple
paid-
times this season. We've seen it.
Leclerc paid the price. He didn't get to start the Monaco race last
Yeah,
year.
Leclerc did that last year, but it
I
didn't
don't know
work
if it
out.
was
It might
on
have-
purpose.
But
I don't know.
so is that something that the driver just decides to do?
Yeah.
Well, I guess
They
this
don't
time
say
round.
that on.
So what's the evidence of this?
Of
This is the
course,
first
there's no
time.
evidence. Like if there was evidence, like,
Okay,
it
okay,
would be
but like-
Okay, but-
catastrophic.
The day that Checo did that crash, did he have the best time?
Nope. Leclerc was
No.
first. He was going even faster. I don't know why. Checo was P3, I think. It didn't make sense.
But he was going slower.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so the Max is mad about that incident apparently, and that's why he said, "I'm not letting him by. Like this is my position now."
But why were they asking him to let Checo by? Is that because he had the position?
Because
already?
Checo let Max by first to
Yeah.
fight Alonso. In the end, Max couldn't get Alonso, so usually you just swap
Yeah,
positions
yeah, yeah.
back.
Wow,
But yeah,
what a dick move.
There's a lot of like politics behind this.
because
Because
so much.
there's so much. It's even hard to say, right? I think Formula One's also a different sport because if you have something like football, the players that you're seeing on the pitch are truly the best in the world, no questions. Because any talent that's anywhere will
Apart
get
from the
filtered
TV.
out,
Of course.
right? I'm guessing. I don't know much about football, soccer.
Oh, yeah.
But-
Whoa, relax.
What did you just say?
Cut it, stop.
I got it here.
Delete it.
If you want to be a Formula One driver, like if you look at all the people on the grid right now, like all the parents are either, in the hundreds of millions or quite literally billionaires.
Yeah.
So you're the pool of people that you're
Yeah.
looking. I'm not saying like to get to an F1 driver, you still need to be insane. Like they are the best drivers on
You have
earth.
to be fast. If
I
you're not
wouldn't say-
fast,
they're
you're not
probably
gonna
not
get
the
there.
No, they
Like,
are.
they
They are.
There's
They
20
are.
seats, bro. Like,
Everyone would want
Yes,
to.
but
like-
there's a sort of entry.
Money,
Yeah.
money
But-
helps a lot, but if you're not fast, you're not.
Yeah.
you'll
yeah.
get this car.
But even just to go go-karting for like a
Yeah.
competitive year of
Yeah,
go-karting,
yeah.
you need $1 million. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
yeah, because
Yeah.
you're traveling around the world.
It's
Your go-karting
yeah.
is
It's a
expensive
really
anyways.
expensive sport.
Like,
You need sponsors.
but this is like the highest level of go-karting. Then you go into F4, then you go into F3, then you can buy like, I know someone that has an F3 car and you buy them
Yeah.
for like
Yeah,
100,000,
yeah.
but then like you still need, you're going to crash it. You're going to need
Yeah.
like, if you want to race at the highest level, you have to have so much money.
And it's fair because there's only one way to get there, which is going through the steps of Formula 4, 3, 2,
Yeah.
1.
But you need to
Have
be in a
they- have all the
go-kart when
drivers
you're
in
7.
F1 been in F4?
They might
Well-
skip 1 or 2, like they
Yeah.
might go F3, F2, or like F4,
Like,
F2,
yeah,
F1.
if you're really
They've
good,
all been in F2, put it that way.
What do you guys think of Formula E?
it's a
I mean,
it's
no, I've
I
never
don't
watched it. put
the
it that way.
silence says it all. No one watches it.
I don't
Why
like
not?
it.
You know what I like though? There's electric rally racing. So their whole thing is like it's being sustainable. So they'll go do rally racing somewhere, but then their whole thing is like we want to leave it better than we found it. Right? So they'll I don't know, plant trees or some shit like that. But it's pretty cool because they build like these insane trucks that have
Is this
you know,
the extreme? The one that
yeah.
the one like Lewis has a team, Rosberg has a team.
So a lot of the F1 drivers will have their own teams because they're also loaded. They'll have their own racing teams in other divisions.
Yeah.
which is kind of cool.
Yeah,
but-
Formula One is the sport. It must be so.
So look,
Um,
Max is earning 40-50 million a year. So is Lewis.
Like the environmental footprint must be massive.
Oh, it's fucking terrible, man.
Like having to fly all
Yeah.
these people
That's
around
what
the world every time.
The new 26 engines, they're gonna be they're using fully renewable fuels, so like derived from like vegetables
like,
or something.
yeah.
But
Biofuel.
still, that you're not
That's
saving
not
that much
it.
fuel.
Can I
It's-
be honest? There is much better way of building a calendar than they have done. They fly
Absolutely.
from one side of the world to
It
the
doesn't
other.
make
I know,
sense.
but the way they have it set up is they're leapfrogging. So like they'll have 2 sets of equipment.
Actually, 5. There's 5. Like I've seen DHL had a video. There's 5 sets of equipments that like go.
Yeah, so they're not every equipment isn't going to each event, right? They're going
Yeah.
halfway, but still. it's
What do you
a
mean
lot.
by equipment?
So like like if you're looking at like say all the garage equipment that they have, they might have 5 sets of that, and they're not going to every single race. They're going to every 5th race.
That makes sense. They don't
Um,
have to move everything so much. Yeah.
yeah,
And it takes quicker too.
yeah. I think it's still worth it though. Like once you're into it, it's undeniably
Fuck.
one of the coolest sports
Fuck,
on
I
earth.
gotta get it too.
Dude, it's so
Yeah.
good, man. It is so awesome. I'll put you on the simulator in next race as well. It's
We have our own. We have our own
You have,
here.
you have
as
a
well.
simulator? Like an
Yeah,
actual
In the
yeah.
workshop, we have one. It has like 3 screens. The chair moves. It has like an actual F1 steering wheel with like the screen and everything.
If like
I wanna
once-
try that.
Yeah, he's good already. I want to try once I get good. on
It's
it.
hard though.
How do
It's
you keep
hard,
up with
it's
F1
hard.
news? Do you have any specific ways?
Insta,
YouTube.
Twitter.
Yeah. If I were you, I could send you some videos if you want. But like honestly, Drive to Survive, it is a little like dramatic, but like it kind of gets you into it. Like
I watched it. I've watched it before.
you've watched it before,
Yeah.
okay? So you have a pretty good idea of like who's who.
Yeah, but I feel like I didn't learn anything about their engineering
Okay.
strategy. Like a little bit
I'll
about their
think of some
driving
videos,
strategy, but
yeah.
nothing about the engineering of the cars.
No, the engineering,
Yeah.
especially for us, we actually appreciate like what
Yeah.
a Bernoulli tunnel is or something
Yeah.
like that. Like
What the
you,
fuck is that?
okay, it's like right now they're using, they're basically squeezing the air under the car
Yeah.
to expand it, so you have a low pressure zone below the car,
Yeah.
and then that sucks the car down. And you get more
Okay.
downforce. Yeah, but it's like you can appreciate things like say all the suspension stuff we're learning this year. That's all applicable there. Like it's just
Control.
engineering on steroids.
Lots
That's
of
what
control
mechanical
theory.
engineering is.
Yeah.
Like it's the highest level of material science. Anything, electronics, sensors, control, as you said. Like, yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's like it's an engineering competition the same way rocket is. You show up, and whoever has the best gear will win. But then there's also a driving aspect. So it's also like you also can't compare one driver in this car to a different driver in a different car.
Yeah, you can only really compare drivers in the same car.
Yeah.
And even then, it's not that because the drivers have very different driving styles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And sometimes the car might be
Good
really
for-
good for your driving style,
Yeah.
and sometimes it might be really not good. Like Ricciardo, for example, like he hasn't found his style in the McLaren, and well, he's not gonna find it because he's retiring now.
I think it's a
He's
different.
retiring.
He's
Yeah.
not. He's
Not
because
retiring,
He's
but,
the
like,
reserve.
taking
he's
a
gonna-
break.
Yeah,
He's gonna be a reserve driver for one. Well, I think
Probably.
He's probably gonna be Red Bull.
I
Yeah.
think it's hard. It's a hard sport to get into because you might see an overtake happen and you'd be like, "Oh, this driver is better than the other driver." But
Yeah.
there's so much other stuff.
Yeah.
The first driver that got overtaken might be on old tires. He might
Yeah.
something might be broken on his car. His front wing might be damaged. He might be there's so many
just-
different
yeah.
things that you need to think about. He might be pitting the next round, or there's it's not as clear as like,
Yeah.
oh, this guy's better than this guy, right?
But so do you start watching the like broadcast like alongside
There's-
before it starts where they are actually talking about the different changes the cars have made? Like,
no.
where do you hear
I'd
about
say I'd say
Where do you hear about that?
personally, there's like really high quality YouTube channels. Like there's one called The Race where they'll have like
Yeah,
F1
right.
engineers on, and they'll talk about like, oh, this is why they're making the side pod smaller. This is what we think they'll talk about like aerodynamic philosophy.
Do they do
right?
this like during the race? Or?
Oh no, this will be. They'll
After-
make like a 10-minute video.
WTF one as
yeah,
well.
that was
Yeah.
good. You know, rocket powered Mohawk. Dude, he shits on all of the drivers. Like he just sits in his car and he's like, yeah, this guy fucked it into the wall. Then he'll talk about like Lance Stroll and how like
Wait,
you know,
is
his-
this? I've seen the guy like on Insta just completely bash Lance.
yeah,
all
yeah,
the
yeah,
time.
Yeah.
Like he's in a car wearing sunglasses or something.
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I've
no.
seen that. I've seen
yeah,
that.
dude, he's fucking hilarious. I'll send it. But
Have
yeah,
you heard?
yeah.
Apparently, well, Rakan told me this morning. It's reported that Hulkenberg is in for Schumacher this year. Hulkenberg.
It's been 2 seasons now. The guy is not taking off.
Who?
Schumacher.
Mick.
He's not. Like he's not performing.
Yeah, last year they had the shittiest car. He's done all right, but I feel like there's too much pressure on him.
Why
Like
was he shitting on Lance Stroll? Because he's
Yeah,
he's a paid
Yeah,
driver.
man,
Yeah.
man.
He's a paid driver.
you've met him? What? Okay.
Time out.
We didn't speak. I was working.
Okay, he was there.
He was there. It
Oh,
was
shit.
it was an investors meeting for Aston Martin.
oh,
Damn.
At their office on Park Lane in London.
That
The F1 car was there. I got a picture in front of it.
that's so cool.
With my waitering job. I just was doing an event. Like I was like serving them champagne.
that's sick.
Shit.
Yeah, it was really, and I got to listen to his whole speech. Well, it wasn't about the F1
Yeah.
company, but it's when he acquired, just after he acquired Aston Martin, and then he was bringing in the new CEO, who's a mechanical engineer, and
Yeah.
talking about their strategy with the new designs that they're making and trying to become an ultra luxury brand, blah blah blah. It was really
You know what? If the thing is, like, people shit over Lance because his dad owns the team. But I know that any of us here, if you made $1 billion and your son wanted to go into
Yeah.
Formula One, I would do the exact same
Yeah.
thing. Even if my son didn't want to go into Formula One, I would buy a team without a doubt if I had more money
Yeah,
than sense.
So
Like,
Wait,
I would do the exact same thing. I'm not going to shit on him for that.
But
Yes, but does he run his team in a good way? Like I don't know.
He does.
Maybe not, but he
How
would-
because like-
Sometimes people with all
Look.
this money don't have the appreciation for like the work that's done.
No,
The
I
model.
I would still do that. Like, even if I were bad at managing it, I'd love to own a Formula One team just
Same,
because
same.
it's
Are
fun.
they competitive?
Not at all. But they're also a new team, so they're
Yeah.
pouring a load of money into into
Also,
Aston
Yeah,
Martin right now.
they're building like a whole new infrastructure right now. The new wind tunnel.
Mhm.
Like they're doing a lot of.
But if we just talk about Lance, can we? He has had so many star-studded teammates. Bottas.
Well, yeah.
Vettel.
Now he's
Perez,
gonna have Alonso.
Ocon, Alonso next year. Like he's up against the
Look,
rough and the tough.
He might not be the most talented driver, but he's performed.
Yeah, he's
Like he
performed.
hasn't done.
I didn't think this podcast was going to be bigging up Lance Stroll when I came here. I didn't think.
Nah, he can fuck off with his little green shitty car.
Oh.
If he was that slow, he wouldn't still be in F1.
Yeah, Latifi's going out. Man, imagine being Latifi. You just race with by yourself, a minute behind everyone, every race.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a bit sad.
Who does he
Yeah.
drive for?
Williams.
Williams.
Like Albon
Are
competes.
they the worst?
Yeah. Albon competes. And then there's this guy who
Why are they
just...
so bad?
They used to be one of the best.
Yeah.
Years
He
ago,
used to
they
be better. I think he just completely lost his confidence, and that fucks you up in F1.
Hmm.
If you're not 100% confident in yourself through the corners, you're gonna be losing time every corner.
My
Just
class
can't make
started 4 minutes ago.
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. I've noticed about
Yeah.
10 minutes ago that...
It's alright. I'm not too bothered, but we do need to wrap it up. What did,
Oh, yeah.
did we cover everything that we were talking about?
Yeah.
Either way,
Yeah.
It was like
I-
rough
I-
guidelines. Like these
Yeah.
conversations go their own way, and like, you know, it's easier to have something prepared
Mhm.
if the conversation runs out or dries out. But most of the time, it just flows like this,
Yeah.
and it's all good.
Thanks for having me.
We can
This
wrap
was
it
fun.
up. Yeah.
This was really fun.
Oh, glad to have you here.
Yep.
And thank you for watching, listening. Like, subscribe, and see you next time.